This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the POSTCAST, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm Tim Daniel. I am a lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan, and I've been podcasting about the Reds for 5 years at some of my former publications, such as Late Night Reds, where you'll get my good friend Skylar Webker, who hosts that show, joining me tonight, and the Riverfront part of, where Late Night Reds is part of their network. So very excited to have you guys tonight. Unfortunately, discussing a frustrating night at Fenway Park for the Cincinnati Reds as they take a 13-6 loss to the Boston Red Sox. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel, where if you're a new customer and you hit your first $5 bet wins, you get up to $150 in bonus bets. If you're also just checking me out for the first time, please be sure to hit that notification button here on YouTube, so you can not only get my show after each and every game, but you can get my good friends Jeff and Steve on Locked On Reds. On tonight's show, Chase Burns has what we're going to call a lesson. He's got a little bit of a learning curve, and tonight was just not his night. I'm not worried about him for the future. I think he's gonna learn from this, and it's gonna make him for the better. Austin Hayes and Matt McLain swung really good bats tonight. We're gonna get into that as well, and we can't end the night on a low note. I know they lost tonight, but guys, Jose Trevino not only pitched, he recorded a strikeout. All of that and a whole lot more. Let's go ahead and get this started. I'll bring Skylar on with us as well.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, folks, joining me here tonight is my good friend. He has taken my spot as the host of Late Night Reds over on the Riverfront on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. It is also my co-host on our Cleveland Cavaliers show, The Block, the Shot, the Stop. This is Skylar Webker. And Skylar, I know tonight I wanted to have you on for your first time on a better night, but we're going to get into Chase Burns because that's the thing that has to be discussed here. So, yes, there's no good, positive way to spin this. And just gets through a third of an inning, gives up 5 runs. I guess the good thing is he wasn't charged for all 7 runs because of Matt McLain's error. And does have his first 2 walks of his big league career. Bummer. Sucks. You know what, though? It's his second start. And what is he, 22?
Yeah.
I have not lost any confidence in him. I thought today was just kind of, look, it's his first road start of his career. It's his second start ever. And I know a lot of people are coming off the high of the Yankee game where he just made them look silly, and I get it. But as Jeff and Steve talked about earlier, someone has film on him now. So I think he's going to adjust. I'm excited to see how he pitches against the Phillies this weekend in Philadelphia, a team that's also red hot and playing really well right now. But for those who are coming in here and saying stuff like talking down on the kid, like, let's calm down. It was just a night, and he's going to get better from it.
Yeah, I mean, I still have all the confidence in him. He has the electric stuff. They mentioned it on the broadcast. He's likely was tipping pitches. I mean, the way that they were really teeing off on him really leads you to believe that. I don't have the replay of it pulled up, but he was likely tipping pitches, which is, like you said, a lesson learned. You can't do that kind of stuff up here because other teams are smart. They will watch. They will figure that kind of stuff out. I still think he has a spot in this rotation. I think he has a spot on this roster. And it's just one that you got to wear. Sometimes you just got to wear those losses like this.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter went through this his rookie year. Lodolo's gone through this. Andrew Abbott went through this. Graham Ashcraft went through this. Guys go through this. I can't imagine. I mean, Paul Skeens just had a bad outing against the Brewers last week. So guys go through this. This is part of the learning of baseball. Now, I know his ERA doesn't look good. I'm not worried about Chase Burns' earned run average. And if you sit there and dwell on that for his whole rookie year, you're going to be like not enjoying the experience of what he's going to be, because that's going to fluctuate. It's not going to be that high all year, obviously, but it's going to go up and down. But
I mean, look at Hunter Green. He's never had, those early years, he was in a 4.5 ERA. Now we're talking about him in Cy Young conversation. So
right.
Give these guys some time to maturate to the league.
West Coast Rob in the house. How are you, Rob? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah. So, you could tell from the beginning too. So in the Yankee game, the thing that was so impressive about him, and I was there. So Obviously, I'm looking from not having the beautiful television angle of the strike zone in front of me. But for the Yankee game, you could just tell the beautiful thing about it was he was putting the ball where he wanted to put it. And like you said, today, and also I know that their record says, and I know what a lot of their batting average says, the Red Sox just want to go up there and hit bombs. They want to make contact and they want to drive the ball. And so if you're telling them, if you're showing them what's coming, and also you're like just throwing pitches like right down the middle and not really like fooling them, you're going to run the nights like this. I mean, that Trevor Story home run, it would have happened to anybody. It just so happened to just had to be Chase Burns second start. And I'm, there's not a whole lot of deep dive into a third of an inning. I just wanted to come in here and be like, look, I know how Cincinnati fans get at times. Let's not beat up on the kid. It was a rough night. He's only going to get better. Let's be realistic here. The only way he could have done worse tonight is if he didn't record an out. So it's going to be much harder to do worse than he did tonight. He's only going to get better from here. And I guarantee you right now, Derek Johnson and crew, they're talking to him. They're saying like, dude, you got this. I loved the leadership I saw from the guys. We'll talk about this before we go to the break and I'll get your thoughts on it as well. But when Tito comes and gets him, gives him that nice pep talk, hits him in the chest, and you see him in the dugout and he's talking to everybody. Connor Phillips, same thing, gives up the grand slam and could easily beat yourself up, could easily be mad. And you see Nick Martinez in there just talking him up like, dude, it happens. You're going to be fine. So I thought the Reds ownership, the leadership tonight was great. And for those two guys, better days are ahead. I have no worries about Chase Burns. I'm not super high on Connor Phillips as a major league pitcher, but I do think he has the stuff to stick somewhere.
Yeah, I think I agree with you with the leadership that these guys are getting, not only from the staff, but teammates as well. And to your point about like, look, that's all Boston wants to do is they want to come up and hit. They'll likely go, nothing tomorrow. We could easily blank these guys tomorrow because all they do is swing at everything. So that's why you play a series, is to learn, adapt, and adjust to your opponent. So I'm not worried about one blowout loss, especially the first game of the series here.
Right. Yeah. And especially the way this team's played for a while. I think we can still give them the benefit of the doubt of like, look, these guys have played really hard and they just won their second rubber match yesterday and forever between that and the Detroit series. So we'll absolutely take it. But you know what? It wasn't all bad. The Reds offense did make it interesting tonight, particularly two guys made it really fun in Matt McLain and Austin Hayes Schuyler. So we're going to talk about them here in just a moment. Folks, summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I use FanDuel for tracking all of my favorite matchups and apps to keep it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. Are you new to FanDuel? New customers can get $5, bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Want to shout out everydayers here on the postcast. It's very good to see you guys in the good days and the bad, such as tonight with the Reds who take a difficult loss to the Boston Red Sox 13-6 at Fenway Park. If you were just checking me out for the first time, like I said earlier, please be sure to hit that notification button here on YouTube or subscribe to us in your podcast app of choice, where you can not only get my show after each and every game, but you can get Jeff and Steve Monday through Friday on Locked Reds. And after you do that, go over to the Riverfront. Subscribe there if you're not already. Check out Skylar, Ben, who was with me during the Yankee series last week, and Seth Shaner, who I'll get on here eventually as well. The Riverfront is my home, so I always do my best things to get to go ahead and give them some love as well. And they're doing a lot of great work. So be sure to follow the Riverfront as well as your second listen. Well, third technically after Locked On MLB. But I'm a company man. Let's talk about Skyler when this game got out of hand.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I would think it's fair to say that when Trevor Story hit that home run to make it 5-0, that game was probably out of hand. Actually, maybe that's not fair because the Reds scored 6 runs, but it just wasn't their day. And we know Tito. He's going to have a game plan for tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's going to have
Yeah, I mean, even though the game didn't start the way that you would have imagined or liked, I do love that they still like rallied and put points up on the board and cut it down to like a 2 or 3 point game or run game there in parts of it. After that, yeah, then it got blown over. When Jose Trevino comes in as the pitcher,
hey, we got a segment for that later. We got a segment. All right. West Coast Rob wants to know where he can find Skylar. The Riverfront Cincy on socials. That's where I came from, so I feel like I still have the right to plug that. But that's they're the best people in the world over there, so I love those guys to death. All right, buddy. Let's talk about some good things.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Matt McLain today. 3 hits, OPS just under 650 now. Really took advantage of the monster, getting some hits today. Loved his swing. I mean, Garrett Crochet came into this game pitching lights out, and the Reds got him for 5 runs. So there is some good to this day. And like you said, like they were able to put some runs in there. They were able to make it close. At one point it was 8-5. So I mean, 3 runs is still a lot to come back from, but they put a fight up before everything happened with Connor Phillips there. But I thought Matt McLain did a great job today, and obviously Austin Hayes with a triple and a homer today. Austin Hayes, who I literally said yesterday, the swings he's been making since he came back from the IL on Friday are eventually going to drop for hits. It just felt like he was making good contact, and today they dropped for hits, and they were awesome. 3 RBI for him today. McLain had 2 as well. Those 2 guys really brought the team to. And Johnny says right here, they easily could have quit when they were down 7. KC says it as well. The Reds last month would have rolled over. I thought those 2 guys really did a good job bringing the offense back in the game.
Yeah, I think they said on the broadcast that Hayes has the 2nd highest OPS in Fenway, outside of Camden Yards, where he spent most of his time with the Orioles. Is the stadium that he has the 2nd highest OPS is Fenway Park. So he likes playing there. He likes getting hits there, especially. And so that mixed with Matt McLain really getting hot, really turning it on after a very, very slow start. You love to see that, not only for those guys as individuals, but now you have protection around Ellie, who doesn't have to do everything. You can easily pencil in 1, 2, 3, and 4 in your lineup basically every day. That feels good. These guys have a rhythm and a role, and we talk about it. Ben and I talk about it on Late Night Reds, where it's amazing how far these guys can go when they have a stable, steady spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So to further what you're saying about McLain, in his last 3 games, so the last 2 Padres game and tonight, he has 6 hits. So he's doing it.
Yes. I mean, look, he came into June sub 200, and I think he pulled his batting average out of the 200s now, but
he's at 213 right now. So his last 15 games, 321 batting average, 387 on base, 482 slugging. It's interesting. He's not had a stolen base all month, and he was like 12 for 12 going into June. So he's still got perfect. I don't even know if he's done an attempt. I don't recall him having an attempt. It's a lot of games in June, but big picture, not only did he end June on a high note, the team had a really good June, and it's the last day of June today, obviously. But what they got from him today, and then like you said, Austin Hayes just being a Boston Red Sox killer per se, and Fenway Park being his home away from home where he gets his best hits. It was really, really awesome to see. The rest of the offense, I thought Ellie obviously had that little slide out of that kind of led to a double play. That kind of was a detriment because I felt like they were really rallying there. I don't blame him. It's a weird park. I don't know. For all we know, that mud is from when Babe Ruth was playing there. I mean, so let's be realistic here. And then CES had a double at the end. And just, other than that, Ty Steve double was a really good swing. So I really had a chance to kind of get a rally there together, and it just didn't happen. But it's why you play, like you said, it's why you play multiple series.
Exactly.
Did I miss something? I don't know. Was I just not paying attention? Ricky has asked me multiple times what happened to Santiago Espinal. He's just not great, is what I just always say about him. So I don't know. But I know that he can't hit for, he can't hit my body weight. So I don't know how he's going to hit his. So,
I mean, the Santiago Espinal, he's being forced into more playing time than he should get. I think once we get Marte back, that kind of fixes that adjustment. We see a lot less Santiago Espinal, and he becomes kind of the bench role player that we need him to be, not an everydayer.
Yeah, exactly. Unlike our everydayers here at the Locked On Postcasts.
Love that.
So let's go ahead and get to our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Speaking of everydayers, shout out Joshua Tucker here with the high note. 15-11 in June. Absolutely. So now they had a winning record in April. They had a winning record in June. So if they could just find a darn way to get to 5 games over 500, I think that's what we're all waiting on, because it's like they've been allergic to it. Skylar, there is always a beauty to a baseball game, no matter how things go. And tonight's beauty, position, player, pitching. Jose Trevino took the mound for the final out of the bottom of the 8th inning against the Boston Red Sox tonight. And not only was he going up there just slinging it at a whopping 55 miles an hour, he got a strikeout, baby. Jose Trevino struck out a major league player tonight, a major league hitter. That's like when you get tackled by the punter on a punt return, right? So
Pat McAfee would be proud.
Yeah, exactly. So Jose Trevino, we salute you for getting your first strikeout as a pitcher. And I think that should just put him in the All-Star game right there. That's it.
I mean, he was pretty fired up after that strikeout too.
I would be too. Here's what I say all the time about baseball players. When I have people who are like, this guy stinks, this guy's terrible, I say, you know how much I would love to just have the talent to be able to hit a pop fly in the infield in the major leagues because I made contact? Like, I would just love to have that. And these guys are otherworldly at their job. So, yes, I also would be fired up. Laura said that he offered to sign the ball. That's pretty awesome.
That's great.
That's sportsmanship. Yeah, especially because Trevino was a Yankee all those years. So, he's pretty familiar with the Red Sox. Just awesome to see, man. I know we're kind of goofing, but this team, it's been a lot of fun of late. I know tonight stunk, but I'm not going to let one night bring me down. Like Josh said, it was an awesome June. I love it. Oh, Dave said Ty Steve kept the ball for him.
That's
awesome.
Great. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, they made it through. Not only did they make it through June on a high note, winning the month of June, we kind of all said that this month of June was going to be one of their tougher stretch of games because they're facing all these upper echelon teams. Not only did they finish in a winning record, but they finished above 500 against all these winning teams. So that's great.
Ricky, I know what you're talking about. Okay, so he got the hit that Trevor Story fielded. It was like a bounce where it went over who was Boston's third baseman tonight? Forgive me. It was over Marcelo Mayer's head. And when Trevor Story went to field it, it went out of his hand and they called it an error. But it was like he had no chance of getting him out regardless there. So it was for sure should have been scored a base hit. And I imagine it will be changed if it hasn't already. According to the box score, it has not been changed. So it needs to be changed. It was a base hit. But dude, I'm so happy I got to have you tonight. I know it wasn't the best Reds game. I'll have you on one night when I know they win by like 10, and I'll text you real quick to say hop on.
Balance me out.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Cincinnati Reds do take a loss tonight to the Boston Red Sox, 13-6 at Fenway Park. The Red Sox have 13 hit runs on 14 hits, 1 error. The Cincinnati Reds 6 runs on 9 hits, 1 error. Your winning pitcher tonight is Garrett Crochet. He is now 8-4. Chase Burns takes his first major league loss. He is now 0-1. And like we said, there are better days ahead because tomorrow the The Cincinnati Reds are back at it against the Red Sox at 7:10 at Fenway Park for Game 2 of the series. Brady Singer takes the hill. He is 7-6 with a 4.31 ERA. He'll be going against Richard Fitz, who is 0-3 with a 4.68 ERA. To go further down the Richard Fitz role here, Skyler, just so we can give an education, on his big league career, he is 0-4 with a 3.35, 10 career starts and 45 career innings. So talented kid, it looks like, but I think I feel good about the Reds matchup tomorrow. Everyone, thank you so much for spending some time with me. For those of you who are getting introduced to Skyler tonight, it's really cool to see people. I saw West Coast Rob said he subscribed to the Riverfront. So awesome to see that. Be sure to give those guys some love as well. Like I said, plenty of the people who came over with me from Locked On are very familiar with the Riverfront and the work I did there. And I'm really happy that they're keeping everything going. So everyone, thank you all so much. I'm Tim Daniel. Have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow night.
Go Reds.